So have you seen the little bars moving when I talk?
Yes. Good job.
Can you can you prove that it works?
Welcome to TDD Academy, folks. I'm here again, like every Friday, with solopreneur David Coons, and I'm Lancer Kind. And David, can you
Yes,
regale us with
Lance.
an interesting story while I do the sound check to see if everything's running?
I'd love to. Um, Love to. We're going to be talking about this app that here's on the screen, but I'll move it off for a minute. Paul Hudson, this guy here on the screen.
Oh, just a second. Wait, just wait. Change camera angle.
Okay.
There you are. You're on screen. Yep.
Paul Hudson does Hacking with Swift, and Hacking with Swift is a great site. It's a part of it is behind a paywall, so I pay for the Hacking with Swift Plus, and I get to see his early videos and his early projects, and he's been working on and guiding us through the ultimate portfolio app, and it's pretty good learning situation. So here's the ultimate portfolio app running on my simulator. Open and close projects. This is basically just a project app at this stage of its evolution. So it's running here. It's got some awards in it and that sort of thing. Last time, Lance and I tried to do some testing and did a little bit of reverse TDD with some of the awards functions. And so we're going to keep working here because one of the latest things that in my stream that I'm following, Paul got into describing how to do the MVVM pattern of views. And so he broke up one of his views using the MVVM pattern. And I did that along with this video and all of his background information here. I'll just kind of scroll through it. It's a lot of information. This is all on his paid site. It's very easy to follow along. He never makes mistakes like I do. He seems to know
What?
exactly. He seems to know
Who said we
exactly
make mistakes? Did you just
what
say
the
that on air?
I did not say that on air. I said I make mistakes. I didn't say any we. There
I
was no
didn't even know
we
you made
associated.
mistakes. I would never say it on air, David.
Okay.
Make mistakes. Come on.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous. So Paul has this app, the Ultimate Portfolio app, and I have it running here on my box, and I have broken apart the project view that had a whole bunch of stuff before, and this is the project view on the simulator running here. Let me close that down if I can remember which one it is, the canvas. And here's the project view, and we broke out a view model. And in the top of this view model, he did something extra slick. And I wrote some notes up here, but for his view model, he's extending the view, project view, and then inside of the extension, it's just holding a class. So he's got this inner class. That's what we called it in Java. I don't know what the right Swifty term is, but he's got this inner class called view model, and that protects the namespace so that he can have a number of view models with the name view model. And anyway, inside this extension.
You're saying you can have a different view model? Okay, so he's extending view model.
He's extending project view.
Which is his class, I suppose.
Which is, yeah, that's the view class, okay? And then the view model that is going to be MVVM is right here inside of this. It's this inner class that we're putting in the extension, and it has all the model information for the project view. And so that takes a while for a caveman, to process that kind of abstraction and stuff. So I was pretty impressed with it, I have to tell you.
What's the, I mean, maybe this might be sort of a sidetrack, but why did he do this?
He did that because, well, he said he's doing it because it creates this namespace protection. So he can have, because the name of this class is now formally projectView.viewModel. So each view model of a view can be named view model, and you wouldn't have a name clash there. You don't have to name it project view model, even though the file name is named that way. The class name is not. Now that's a little different than you old Java people that have the one-to-one correspondence there. Is that still true in the Java world?
I think so. You mean have to have a one class and one file sort of situation?
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I know, I've never seen that changed yet. So here he wants to have the project.viewModel class. That makes sense. I mean, I don't know why he wants that, but I see that he has one. Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, so I'm missing the why he did that, why he wants that, but it's okay.
I think that's so that he can have
Control the namespace.
a protected namespace and have multiple view models, classes named view model.
Oh, okay. That kind of makes sense, but I don't know. So I don't want to hold this up, but that sounds
Yeah. Just let that
pretty
go.
interesting.
Yeah, I found it interesting. I think I understood it. It took a while, but then he was guiding me through it, because I was watching the video of him. So I understood it after watching it 2 or 3 times. So,
All right. So what are we doing today, David?
So because he separated the model stuff out from the view stuff and said, so it would be easier to test. We have a couple of functions down here that have already been written, but we have no test for.
Okay.
And so let's apply what we've learned over the last couple of shows and see if we can test these functions. Add item and add project and delete, which deletes projects from the database. It has our old friend, the data controller, in here, right? So it's still dealing with a lot of database stuff, but I'm thinking because they used to have some, these methods used to have some Swift UI stuff in them, we got to extract that and leave it back in the view class. And so they're all just plain model stuff now. So we ought to be able to...
Almost plain model. There's a database save. That's right into a database when you do control data control save. But yeah. All right. So let's write our first test case here where this baby goes.
All right. So I've got a test class here already. And I just named it test something because I don't know what the thing should be named first. So I just go ahead and write a little bit of test until I get, I know where it's going. And so I think what I want to do is test this class add item, which in order to add an item, you're going to have to add a project or have a project. So maybe I'm starting at the wrong place and I ought to be starting at add project, huh?
It doesn't matter to me. I have a sort of a sidebar but I think it's an important sidebar. Or let me just ask you what you think. Should we, how do I say this? Should we break the dependency with the data controller and so that we can test without it? Or should we leave it there and we'll end up writing unit tests that talk to a database?
I would be interested in how you would break that dependency.
Okay.
So I'm saying I have no idea how to do it.
Okay.
You've got some ideas. I'd love to see that because that would simplify our whole problem domain, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I think, so, okay, cool. Let's investigate that. So I'm looking at line, it doesn't matter. You could pick 59 or 52. So what calls add project right now? Line 59. We'll start with that one. Who's the caller to these methods?
I went and looked that up over here in the sidebar here. It's in project view. The view model is going to call add item.
Okay. Can you double click on that for me, please? And okay, so we're in the view, and this is going to call add item, and you have full control over this API. It looks like you could change the syntax, what's the word I'm looking for? You could change the signature of add item. So I think we could break this dependency pretty easily. Go ahead and hit back for a second. And so we'll start this step first with a refactoring, and then we'll so go up to where data controller is instantiated. There it is. Self data controller. That's reference. Where's the instantiate? Oh, it's at the init. So somebody above calls the init. Can we see who calls the init? Actually, this might be even easier than I thought. Can you show me? Oh, this is so interesting. So when it's initialized, it's injected there. So that's actually maybe we don't have to refactor anything. Maybe it's already done for us. Can I see who calls the init on this?
Yeah. How do you? Nobody ever calls init in the Swift world explicitly. So
who's calling project view? Nobody's explicitly calling
project view. It must be in project view. Yeah. In project view. The view model is coming in from the state.
Line 22. Oh, that's not it though. Line 22 I thought was it, but that's section project view. Yeah, it's instantiated right there, but it's not using the same init. It must be, were there two inits? Oh, it's project header view. My apologies. That's a different one, I think.
Yeah. That's not the same thing. So if you come down here in the preview.
Oh, there's it. It's using the preview.
So in a preview window, you would have to instantiate all this stuff. So we instantiate a data controller and pass it in to the project view. Is that answering your question?
I think so. So data controller dot preview, is that a static array? Data controller dot preview, or is that something else?
Yeah. Here's the data controller, and the preview is a
static bar.
What's that called? A static property. Yeah.
Okay. And that property does the in-memory database stuff. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Wow. Well, since it's in the in-memory database, maybe there's nothing that we need to do because it's already... We could substitute a mock object in there if we care to, and then we could test if it's being saved and persisted, though. But maybe we could work with the in-memory database to ask it if it's persisted. Well, okay, I'm going to put off my... Thank you, David. So the first thing we learned is that, number one, this isn't writing to a real database over a network in our unit test, which would kind of screw up our unit test speed. Number two, it's we can, if we care to, it's already set up for us, folks. We don't have to refactor this. If we care to pass in a mock data controller that's different than the in-memory database, which is already kind of a type of mock object itself. It's just maybe more complicated or something than we care. But if we care to put in our own, we can, because it's already set up to do that. So that's cool. I think we're ready to start doing reverse TDD then and see where it goes. Because one of the things we'll have to figure out how to do is to see if save was called, and we either ask our in-memory database or we inject our own mock in-memory database to find out. So I think we're set. I think it's all good. So yeah, let's comment out a method and write some unit tests.
Hey, that's something I can do. I know how to do that.
So why don't you comment out 51 through... oh, the bodies. Yeah, you're doing the right thing. Method bodies, not the whole method. Yep, good. And you want to comment. So the main thing is, folks, if you're doing this technique, you might want to comment out everything you're targeting. So if we were targeting to write tests for all of those, add item, add project, delete, you just comment all of them right now. If you just want to start one at a time, that's okay too. But the main thing is we got to remember that we're not done after just add item. Okay, cool. So we're starting with add item, and let's change your test to test add item, I guess. And we need to pass in a project. So view model.
So somehow we have to get a project.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get a project.
You know how I would get a project? I would type in capital P oh, there you go. That's a great idea. Copy paste that one. Oh, David, you always go for the illegal way, huh? I was just saying, type in the words project equals, but you said, oh, here's a copy paste.
If I can copy and paste, I'm going to do it. It's just.
Do you hear that, folks? That's just open. What's the word here? Resistance, I suppose.
Resistance.
It's open resistance.
Open resistance, yeah. So there, I got myself a project.
You typed that so fast, David. It looked like it was copy paste. Wow.
It did look that way, but I'm just fast. Yeah.
And so the view model add item, and what are we going to assert? We got to assert something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, this is where we go back to our conversation about either mock object. Well, oh, okay, there's a bunch of things we could do. We have our data controller. We have project.closed. Oh, we asked the project if it was closed. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong line. I should be on line 53 onwards. So 53 says it creates an item, and then
we ask for the item count.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I can't remember off the top of my head how to ask for item counts, but we were doing that in those other tests.
Yeah, we had a function for that, I thought, with a loop.
Yeah. Let me finish that thing off. We had a whole bunch of other tests. Was it these guys?
Mm-hmm. Somewhere in there. So that's in the test. I don't know that we had... Oh, we do. Test count for fetch. That's for award, in awards, award count equals, see, 58. Data controller dot count. And then there's a request, and that request is for item. All right. So we're going to work with an in-memory database and see how it goes.
Okay.
I think that's all right.
So up in there, we're going to get this fetch request for an item type.
Yeah.
And that actually needs to be an item type that's inside of our project, right?
An item type that's inside.
Because we just...
Well, it's just got to be the database. Oh, project.
So we just added an item to a project. That hierarchical relationship is in the database.
Is it a...
This...
Okay. Is that the entity name? So entity name right now is item. So is the entity now project?
Well, we want to count how many items are in a particular project, and I don't know how to do a fetch request that does that, except that you can then on fetch request, you can also do a predicate sort of maneuver. This is database
Yeah,
language.
yeah.
Are you with?
Well, I think that could work. I was just going to say, why don't we? I mean, I'm crazy, but I thought maybe entity name colon project would give us all the project entities, and that would solve that problem. So, so we could, if you're willing, we could try that and see if we get back before we even make our call to see how many projects are in there before we add it, and then after we add it, and see if the number increased. And we could do it without using a printf. We just put it in a cert.
Oh, touche.
We could, if you just, so after the, before we, line 17, why don't you move that code that you paste in there ahead of line 17 and see if we can find out how many projects are in there. Yeah.
All right. I think we're talking about, I see what you're doing, but I don't think that's solving the problem because we're talking about adding items, and items go inside of projects. So
Items
counting
go
how many
inside of
projects you
projects.
have.
Items go inside of projects. Well, let's take a look here. I see project colon blah blah blah. Yeah. Well, you know the entities better than I do. I'm probably talking nonsense then. I don't know. Item equals. So line 53 is item equals context data controller blah blah blah, and then it sets item.project. Oh, I see. Yeah, you're right. Its item is a sub-entity to project and creation. And then what item is that using? It's a brand new one, so it creates a new item. So it's still going to increase the number of items.
Yeah.
Okay.
The item is created here.
Okay.
Um,
So we expect to see more items then.
yeah.
And then let's change that back to item. The line 18, yeah, and then see how many items there are first. So do a word count. Get the word count there, and we'll assert something like, I'm going to say there's no items. So we're going to write an assertion before we do the thing that we're testing, just to discover if we understand what's in that database. So XCT assert word count equal to, let's say 0, and then make that an XCT assert equals. Okay, nice. And if you want to just run that test, you comment out the rest of that test case, 25 through whatever, and see what number we get back. That's interesting. Yeah, I've seen that that error, that thing come up before, switch and blah blah blah. Do you always pick switch? Is that how you handle that?
I hit return. Yeah,
Okay.
really quickly. What it's doing is switching the this context up here. These things are called schemas, Xcode schemas, and it's switching between the project schema and the test schema.
Okay.
And I screwed these up somehow, and it used to be a lot more transparent and not as obvious, but when I repaired my whole project, somehow I didn't repair everything.
Oh.
And so it's become more verbose about that changing schemas.
Okay. I had
Whereas
an error. I had that message come up in another context, and I thought, "What's this?" And then I don't know. I just picked what I think what you did, hit the big button, and then it was all happy.
Yeah.
But okay, thank you though. You explained where the change. It just switches that schema selector. Apparently, you're working with one schema at a time. All right. Well, we can just add in that code now, and then make a new assertion that there's going to be one, and then our test should fail, and then we have some reverse T. We have to unreverse. We have to put some code back in, I guess.
Okay, so we've got 0, and now we're going to go for items again.
Yeah. You could use the same fetch request. You don't have to renew it up again. Oh, it's a let though. We'll have to either change our fetch request into a var or have two of them. So the, yeah, okay. I'm gonna,
Are you good with that change?
I'm just gonna have to request some control. I don't think I can handle that.
You cannot have control. Okay, now you can. It can't handle that, can you?
No.
Okay, I'm being way too.
You did that on purpose. It's like,
I'm
well,
being way too wordy.
Let's trigger Lance now. Let's just put in a number after our variable name. So this is a number of, or it's getting item request. Oh, which means it's the same query as before. We don't actually have to have two of those. We just rerun the same one. Okay. Item request, is that fair? Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then
You're
this
just
one.
you're optimizing things before I can even think about them.
Well, that's why we have two brains on this show.
Oh, okay.
Let's see here, and I'll put this like.
That needs to be fetch item request. I'm sorry, item request. Hey, even a caveman can find that.
Spell that? I probably didn't spell that correctly.
You did not spell that. I don't know what you're spelling, but
Boom.
it didn't look right.
All right, cool. Do you want to?
And then we want that assert equals from up above.
Here, let me copy paste that really slowly.
Yeah, copy paste that really slowly.
Let's see.
You wouldn't award count. You would not want police on you. I know, because you're changing states and.
Oh dear. Oh, now this one's gonna have to be a var though. That's gonna have to be a var, and then we're gonna get rid of this one. This let. We will let that go. Let that let go. Okay, is it gonna be happy now? It says it's all angry with me still. Cannot find view model and scope. Oh. What happened to our...
Why could it find it earlier?
Oh, we haven't declared it yet. Yeah. Right? So we need a view model.
What? Oh, okay.
We never built one.
We never built one. That's right. How do we build a view model?
This one is which one now? This is the projects view model?
Yeah. Yeah. It's projects. I don't know if I can do this while you're doing something.
View dot view model, like that. Because that's what the point was.
And then it has an initter on it, that needs a data controller and a Boolean.
Boolean. All right. Where am I going to get one of those? I'm going to use the same one that we used. Data controller dot preview, I assume. Data controller dot preview. Yay! We visited that one, and then you said something else.
Show close projects true.
Oh, okay.
It's a Boolean. So you need the and then you need just a true or false. And so that should get us a view model.
I probably have to give this a named. Is this a named variable?
Oh yeah, you probably have to give it the named thing in the initter, and it's called data controller lowercase d.
Let's see if that fixes it. It did fix it. Great. Sweet.
And now what's wrong with
I probably have to still take my spelling. XCT. Oh, I think that's right. XCT. Assert equal singular.
Oh, if I'm not mistaken, you have made that mistake before.
I think the Xcode guy said, yeah, everybody else calls it asserts in plural. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I don't know where's it. I need a grammarian on the show to call us in and say which one's the most correct way, because I don't know.
A grammarian.
Or assert equals.
Yeah.
5 plus 5 is equal. 5 is equal to 5. And then you say, is 5 equal to 5? Yeah, you don't use equals. So why do we use equals all the time? I don't know.
All the times?
Yeah,
did you say times?
Apparently I'm really lost my mind now. There we are. I'm running the test, David. I'm going to
Have
sweep
you
that mistake
ever
under the rug as fast as possible.
have
But
you
it
ever
passed. But I
read
can't.
the
Oh, it didn't pass. Good. Because if it passed, we have a different problem.
Way with Words on Saturday NPR show?
Is that that game show?
It's not a really game show. It's a show about words, and you could call them up and ask them this question about equals,
Oh,
and
okay.
they would give you a definitive answer from experts.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
gonna
I'm
call
at a
them.
loss right now where you would use 5. Does 5 equal 5? Yes. Are those two things? I can't even think of where I would use a plural equal now, other than in code. Have I Am I? Yes, will make it the game show's problem. I like it. Maybe we could live stream that.
Okay, you put a 0 on my screen for some reason.
Oops, that was me trying to change camera angles.
Okay. We have a failing test, which was our original goal.
Yeah.
And then we want to come back over here to our test and see if we can make it pass, right?
Yeah, the simplest way to make it pass.
Uncomment all the stuff you made me comment
Well,
out.
almost. I'm not sure though. So yeah, definitely. I think we need the first 53. There's some tricks in here we got still. 53. We need an item, and then we need to save it. So we created an item. Wow, how does that even work? Item. Oh yeah, I think you just need to do 53 and 56. But it needs a no, we're not checking for projects yet. So I think that's it. I think it'll pass. The scheme test is not running.
Is that what it said?
It's kind of
I didn't
stern
read
about that.
it.
That's why I was startled the first time I got that message. I go, what? I was about ready to call you up. David, we need to do a show. I'm stuck. I'm getting the Xcode yelling at me.
Xcode will yell about stuff. Sometimes exit the project and come back in.
Okay, the
test failed.
Failed again. So I'm not sure why that didn't pass. So we have an item that has a context data controller, and it's we don't need to add the project, I don't think, because we're just looking for items. Oh, add item to, so number 24, why does that say project there? Oh, because that's making our call. That makes sense.
That's the thing under test.
And
then we're doing the same. This interesting thing here. Could it be storing this fetch request and not actually rerunning it?
Well, I don't know. I guess we could try to make a brand spanking new one, huh?
Yeah, well, one thing we could do is change the name of this one. So I'm surprised you didn't already catch this. Come on, change the name. Come on, Xcode, you can do it.
You just need to type it in. What's the new name you're looking for?
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I want not award count, but item count.
Oh, good catch. That is a good catch. Now you got count with a capital C. All right.
All right. So if it was caching our result from the database because it was trying to be nice, how would we make it uncache or go get it again?
Maybe make another item request again, I suppose. Because it's running it against, I don't know. Yeah. Let's try that. And then if that doesn't work, I'd say something else is up. Because I don't know what's up right now.
Okay.
And then
so we think we're going to have...
Just put a number at the end of that one, David. Well, because I actually am not willing to commit that this is the problem, but I'm willing to look and see if it, see if it solves the problem, and then if it does, then I'm convinced we got to give it a real name. See how fickle I am? Wow.
Mr. Practical.
Mr. Fickle. Yes. Boom. So it still fails. I think, yeah, I don't think it's caching it. I think what's happening is we may not be quite in control of things here. Let's see.
I
So,
feel out of control.
so when you have you added the so a couple new things here. Well, maybe not. Let's look at the code that's under test again. So we have an item, and then we say let item equals a new item, and then we hit save. Is that enough to save the state? I guess so, because all the other moves are like that. So whenever I new something up with a data controller, it's like persisting that. It will.
Yeah, it
persist
has
enough
this
to-
context.
All right. So I'm feeling crazy. Like I need to use the debugger to make sure it's calling line 52 because I wonder how do we prove it's calling our code? I suppose we could. How would we prove it's calling our code? Yeah, I would say either put a breakpoint at 53 just to make sure it's calling our code, and then run the test and prove it's calling this code. Because there's a lot of, I'm being a little paranoid because that extension, and I just want to make sure that the environment's working the way I expected.
Okay.
Sorry, Paul. If you were comfortable with it, great. But it's new to me, so I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here online. And then you want to put another breakpoint at 24. Actually, yeah, we can't have a break at 53. That'll just make us crazy because it's going to call it so many times. We have to put it in our test case and then walk it in
Oh, okay.
because it's going to be called a lot of times.
Okay, let me see. How do I walk this back? I want a break point there, and then I want to restart. I'm
I
going to
think you want to turn
stop.
off 53 though.
Turn off 53
Yeah, because
altogether.
it's going to be called by a bunch of other stuff too, possibly.
Okay, so we want to get to here first.
Yeah.
And then, okay. So now I want to run the test. And testing, and we get to our breakpoint. Now I want to enable this breakpoint.
Yeah, that's good.
And continue. And
all right,
here we
it's calling
are
our code.
in our code. And if we were to be brave enough to step over this and step over this.
It should be in our database now.
Yeah, I was wondering if anything would show up because core data is known to be very talkative.
Oh, really?
See all this stuff in the...
Wow.
If you could parse that real quickly for me.
Let me put on my Spock ears.
And,
Item is, okay, do you see that core data warning on, there's no line number there. Here, I'll move the mouse a little bit. Oh yeah, and then up higher, I'm just looking at this. Is enabled, so item SO entity is enabled to disambiguate. Number up higher.
Yeah?
That one. I wonder what that's about. And then look another higher up, failed to find a unique match for... But I don't know what's generating these warnings, right? They could have been here forever, so I don't know what's going on.
Oh, okay. Paul warned about this, but I don't know if it truly applies here. But he's like, one of the problems you're going to hit is there's the code under test running and the database for the code under test, and then the test code seems to have objects too that are associated with the database. I don't remember exactly how he phrased this, but it's like for some reason you have this dual hierarchy of objects. And it sounded like testing the database was a problem because now you have this dual hierarchy of objects and you won't get the right object. And I wonder if we're running into that.
It's time. I think it's time to ditch the database and put in a mock object, or at least give that a shot. That's my interpretation. Database, in-memory database, complicated, can't make it work all the time. That's what Lance is hearing. And maybe it's just a misunderstanding, but that's where I'm at right now. Let's try it. I mean, because it's a mock object's even simpler. If we go to the test, and we'll give it a try. That's all we can do here. And this is not the test. And in the test, instead of working with this guy, is we make up our own data controller. So let's see how to make up a data controller. We never did learn how to create a class inside of a method body, have we? Like, can I declare a class in here? Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Data controller mock. Oh, let's put a mock at the front, I guess. Mock data controller, and then that extends. Now, data controller might be using protocols and all kinds of stuff, but I don't know. Let's try this first, I guess, see if the compiler lets me. Data controller. Okay. Whoops, I wanted braces. And so now we just do. Hey, you, stop that. Here, okay. Oh, we have to have an instance, so I better get an instance up here. Let mock data controller. Okay, and then data controller colon. Yeah, let's get rid of this now.
It's going to be your mock.
Something's upset at me up there above, or just a warning. Oh, it just no, it was warning me that, hey, you're not using this.
Yeah, a
Hey,
little
you're
too
not using
fast with that, isn't it?
All right, that part's cool. So I think we're all good. And now if we run the test, we will no longer have to test it with this, because we have our mock object, which could act as a spy. It's going to spy
And
on
we're going to
this for
call
us.
count on our.
No, I'm not going to do that. We're just going to totally
Okay.
delete all that code. So I don't think
Okay.
we need it. And then we don't need this. And then we're going to add the object, and then we're going to talk to our spy. So we're going to have our mock object spy for us to tell us, hey, spy.
You're going to
Let's-
build this spy.
Let's say it was save called. That's the first thing I might call this spy.
Yep.
So I better put something in here like a Boolean save called. Is there a naming convention in Swift for, like, do I have to do it has or was? Maybe that was save call. I think that sounds better already. Boolean.
I don't know if there is or not.
And then that's got to have a variable because it's going to vary. And I gotta stop writing Java code in my Swift. In fact, I could probably just put false.
You
Maybe
could
it'll
probably
work
false.
first
Yep. Right
for
there.
that baby.
Uh-huh.
And then, do I use an attribute to override, or do I just do it? Or is it a
To
keyword?
override. I do not.
Got it.
You're overriding the save function.
Ah,
Okay.
and that's gonna say the save
And when it-
called.
Oh. And that's all it has to do. It doesn't even have to do anything. It just.
And then we can ask it, we can interrogate it. Hey, mock object, was save called? And it'll say, oh, yeah. Or, nuh-uh.
Well, since it's inner class, we don't even need any. We can just
See, item count.
open it up and say down here in the excerpt, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Mock data controller
there it is.
dot
Yeah, you got it.
was save called. And that should
And we don't have to worry
be
about
true.
Fancy database stuff. But I was actually willing to work with the in-memory database because that's a sort of an edge case where maybe they're. But I'm actually commenting something else out. Actually, I should comment everything out again. But Okay, well, let's see if it fails. And then if we add in 56, that'll pass. And then we have to be smarter in our mock object. All right. Oops, I got an error back here. Cancel.
Yes, say replace.
Damn it. Wrong choice. Anyways, there's a funk. I missed my funk.
Oh,
We don't have
I
any
see.
funk in our save. We gotta put some funk in there, David.
Put some funk
we're gonna
in.
put a little funk in our save, folks.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to say that with the 1960s voiceover.
I guess so. XCT assert. What's it complaining about here? Oh, it already ran somehow. Okay. Now I do want to replace. What's going on? It's all unhappy.
It's testing. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it.
Oh, we have a breakpoint. Let's clear that baby.
Oh, you want to clear the other one too.
Is it disable or delete?
Delete. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I'll have to check my phone and see if that's somebody who wants to call in on our show here. Is that Taylor? Oh, it's somebody called potential spam. Should I answer that?
Nah.
We could put them on the show and say, what do you know about blah, blah, blah? And they're like, oh.
Glad you called here, caller.
Yeah, thank you. We were just, next time. Usually potential spam is you pick up the phone, nobody ever answers. It's like,
Yeah.
XCT assert false is not equal to true. Okay, cool. So it failed, David. So if we put this in here, we're going to save it. And then we'll see if it passes. And if it passes, then we have to get more, we have to enhance our mock object a little more so we can have it fail again. Wow, look at all that crud it puts in there. Yay! Okay, we have a pass. All right, now we need to make our object even, we have to test our way out of this here. So, because now we need an item. So how do we ask our mock object about items? So save says item. It's supposed to save the item somehow. How are we going to get that? An item is going to know about our
Context.
This might get tricky. All right, so we can give item the context and item and then data controller save normally would supposedly save those items in some way because item knows about the data controller. I don't know. I might be stuck now. Let's see. How do we ask it about item? All right, so we're going to make an item. And item is going to know about data controller. And how does item know how to work with data controller? We need to look at that a second because that's
Okay.
part of our.
Click on the.
It's commented out up here. So I was looking for some place where items used. Go ahead. If you know where to get it, go ahead.
No, I don't. Go to project here and see if we can't go project, jump to definition.
NS managed objects. So there's some NS managed.
That was not helpful.
All right. So maybe we have to go to item, which will probably be the same kind of problem. Yeah, go ahead and uncomment it and then take us there, I guess. And a little bit angry with us because we got this. So it's an NS managed. Okay.
See,
right.
These two classes are created on the fly by the core data stuff.
Yeah.
So the only thing we do with them is core data helper sort of stuff, where we write a little bit of code in there. But so here's the extension on items, and it
Okay, so item knows about our mock object, and it's going to try to write itself to that according to NS object, if that works right. How do we make that work? I need to know more about, I feel like I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage here because I don't know about that NS, whatever that protocol is or extension. Okay, let's take a look at that code again. We might have to do a different strategy.
This right here or the other stuff?
No, the code under test. Okay, so item equals blah, item project, item creation date, and its only purpose in life is to use that context and to get saved into the object. So that context somehow knows about items, updates, and creation, and that happens because of the context. And yeah, wow, I don't know. This one might get us stuck here. I'm a little worried about this. So because the only way we can test the side effect of this code is if save saves it. I can find out if save was called, but I don't know how to test those other pieces up above because that's handled out of our control by object ID or whatever that thing was called.
This view context, you mean?
Yeah, data controller container view context, which should be our data controller, our mock one. But we'd have to make it even a better in-memory database object than I probably know how to do off the top of my head right now because I don't know how to make those things cooperate. On this guy, let's see, object equals.
Okay, I know this might give the wrong impression, but if we uncomment all this stuff and ran it, we would get a passing test, even though we have no verification that item has been created or saved.
That's right.
I mean, we know that our save method was called, but that's all we
know.
really know.
Yeah.
So it would be a very bad test.
I'm trying to think of a way we could trick it differently. I do have a way we could trick it differently, I think. Hang on a second. So so we want to test line 53 through 55. Those are the most valuable parts to test. And then 56, being informed that it was called, that's helpful too. And right now we're informed that it's called, but we don't know about the other things. So let me think. If we made a different function that took item and okay. All right, I want to change strategies a little bit. So go ahead and uncomment 54 and 55. We're gonna do a refactor because this unless we know more about how to make that context work with our mock object, we're kind of in a stuck spot. And then we probably need is 53 supposed to be commented out, or did we comment that out?
We made a mistake and put it there.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's supposed to be one line.
So here's what I would like to do. I want to change this code a little bit to make it more easier to test. So if we move, we're going to make a signal in here. This is a little bit strange, I guess, but we'll try it. Function save item. So I'm writing code without a test, and then I'm refactoring. I'm going to ignore that. I'm going to refactor this and then see what we have, see if this works. So if we pass in a 53 is item. So we're going to pass in item, and item is an item. And let me see if I'm colon. That's a capital I item. And then I'm also going to pass in the data controller. I don't think that part matters. All right. We'll see if this makes sense in a minute here. And then I'm going to move. I'm basically structuring the code so I have more context. And then I'm going to, and that's where it does the database thing. So I've made this situation where I've linked the item with saving together. And if this works, we would do this for the other item, for the other examples too. So here we would link the data controller with the project. We'd have to make another save project and then a delete. Looks like we're deleting an item here. So I'm introducing a pattern where I'm going to have a little more information. I'm going to have the item, and then it's going to call save. And then if I mock this thing, then I have everything I care about. I say, oh, I know it's going to have to call save because that's what the code says. And I know what the item is because I'll be able to get that with a mock object. So I can't have spaces in my names, can I?
I don't think you can have spaces in there.
I swear I saw it. Oh.
Sometimes there's two words, and I don't know why.
Why?
I don't know why. I don't know how that protocol. Something happens, and sometimes you can have two words. So I didn't know about three, but yeah.
All right, item to save. Boom. All right, so I believe the application still runs. Do we need to run a quick manual test to see if it still runs? Because I'm confident now that we can test that this gets called, we'll get the item, and then we'll be able to test for all the features of the item, and we can detect when it's called, so we know it'll call save as well. But
Okay,
since I refactored it, but how do we prove that this refactoring is still working?
well, it's not going to work because add item doesn't call save item.
Oh, I'm sorry. There we are. Put it on. Please add that in there. I meant to do that. I forgot. It's a detail. And if somebody watching the video knows how to make a smart enough mock object that will cooperate with the protocol so we don't have to do this, that's great. Let us know. Put a comment in the YouTubes, put a comment in the Twitch, or send us a tweet on. I'm at Lancer Kind, and David's at David A.
Kuntz on Twitter. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay, did you expect this test to pass or fail?
I expect this test to pass, but I'm not worried about the test. I want to know if it really, like, when you run it, does it still work?
Test failed.
Illegal attempt to establish a relationship with something down there in line 30. Test add model. Add item to... Did we add some more code or something? Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
Did we add this to project?
Oh. No. Oh, interesting. So if you use spaces, you can have two? I don't know why that works. What are we at? We are in a class called Ultimate Portfolio Projects Model Test. That's our test.
I don't know how this to project got in there, and I don't think it's supposed to be in there.
Take it out. It must be a...
I don't...
That's weird. Well, they see it on line 70, it says from project and to project, so that does work.
Oh, it's to colon. We lost the colon.
Okay.
I'm trying to go back now, if I can figure out how to go back.
Okay. So you want to put to space project? Because see, on 70 it says from space project colon. So you don't want the colon after two. I'm just going to follow, I would follow the pattern that's on line 70. That says from project with a space, white space between. And just write to colon project, just like it. You just don't want the colon there.
You're saying that?
Yeah.
It's taking me a while to follow what you're saying. Sorry, I was somewhere else. Do we think that's going to build and be happy?
Yeah, I hope so. Let's go compiler. It says that build test waiting for device. Build test failed. I think, do we have to write to space project? That looks right. Oh, it just took a while.
Remember that a build of the app doesn't build the test.
Oh, whoops.
So we've got building code again, and both sides are building, and now we have an illegal attempt to establish a relationship.
Wow.
It's
Alrighty
being,
then.
yeah.
View model, add item to project. So view model, add item to this project. We're adding the item to the project. That's it. Looks right to me.
Yeah, I don't know what this syntax is supposed to be saying. Here we have 2 words. Here we have 1 word.
Doesn't the rest of the code want the to space project colon? I mean, it isn't about dropping one of those words, is it? Because I think the rest of the code's using it quite fine and compiling.
Okay.
Comment out 30 and see if the rest of the code builds. All right, so the rest of the code builds. So why, I think, to project, what is it wrong there? Why is that illegal? All right, well, we need line 30, though, to run this test.
All right. So I just heard test failed. It looks like all the code is compiling, and we have tons of compile or test. We have at least a test error.
Yeah.
Here.
So we need to put 30 back in, though. We need that line, since that's what's under test.
Yeah.
And maybe
And
try
it's like,
again, see if it's happy again. The build succeeded?
yeah.
Or did it?
Or
Did. No. Oh, it's a runtime error. Hell, I thought that was a compiler, but that's a runtime error? Oh.
How do you know?
I know I didn't.
It looks the same.
Maybe it's smaller? I'm not sure now. I don't really. I didn't. Okay. All right. So let's read this for a second. So it says source. So it's really angry with us because it's probably not buying what my mock object's doing. I suppose it's just a guess. And all right. So now I'm trying to decide here. I don't think I need my mock object that I built before anyhow. So it's okay. Go ahead and close this. We don't need a mock data controller anymore because we have a new strategy. We're going to mock save item. We're going to do what's called a partial mock. We're just going to mock that one thing. So we can delete 16 through 22 and 24 as well, or now 18. Yeah, we don't need that. Okay. Now, hopefully, this won't get us in trouble with the in-memory database, because if it does, oh well. Data control. Okay, we need a data controller though, right? Is that?
Yeah.
So we need a new one of those up still.
So I'm lost. Where did we get that last time?
Yeah, do that.
We got it from preview, right?
That's right. Yeah, yeah. And then.
All right, and then we want to use the proper name of it. Okay. Data controller. Data controller.
Okay. All right. So
this is a data controller.
Oh yeah. But
it doesn't.
we're going to rebuild that line anyhow. So we're going to change how that works. So let me drive for a moment here.
Yep.
So the difference now is I've got this thing set up for our test, this code over here, and we still haven't proved that the code actually runs. Do you mind that we do that first before I do this next step? Because this should be.
I'm all yours, man. I'm
Okay.
learning by just watch.
Let's,
Yeah, keep going.
We don't need all these whites. Anyways, yeah, let's actually run the app and prove that this refactoring is going to work before I invest time on using it to run the test.
Okay,
So,
by manual execution?
yeah, because that's all we have. Did nobody give you any tests for this, did they? Right?
No.
No, so.
I have to switch context here because somehow I lost the automatic thing. When I hit run,
Schema.
I get the app over here.
All right. So we just need to prove that it saves a item, and then if it does, we're home free, and then we can get back to the test.
And then in here we can do add a new item, and that's a new item.
Sweet.
And so then maybe we need to change its name from new item to like that, so that we can see it showing up, and it shows up there. Okay. Now the question is, what project is that in? It's in new project. I don't know which one new project is, but it's one of the various new projects we have.
Okay.
So you know, nothing is complained yet.
All right. So if you go, okay, cool. So let's see. So we know that the item can be added, and we know that there's a new project it's associated with. All right, yeah, I see it there on the UI. Okay, so I think we're good. So it should be working. That was pretty easy. You caught the one mistake that I left in there on purpose. Ha ha ha. But David says, well, you can actually call the code. Okay, cool. So now we're gonna mock that step. And how we're gonna mock it. So this mock object's called, this mocking style is called a partial mock. We're testing view model, but we're gonna partially mock one part of it, and that part of it is the save item because we don't want it to get into the database. And so this is a good strategy to use for sure if you're using a real database. I'm sorry we didn't get to use the in-memory database the right way, but it just wasn't working for us. And well, if we can't make it work for us, then we find a different way to make it work. So here we are. I need to new up a new class called a partial mock class. It's going to be called view model, so partial. Okay, so it's a new class.
Partial view model.
Class. Partial view model, and it extends projects view dot view model, and this class we're going to override. I think I write the word partial mock. And we're going to override one piece, the piece that we can't really test closely, but it's the piece that has save, and we don't want to run save, so it's the perfect situation. So override, and we can spy from there too. Save funk. Got to just get some funk here. Excuse me while I get some funk. Item.
Bring in the funk.
To save, item. And then we're going to have another, we can do some spying. And now, we're going to have a really good spy. We're not going to use a Boolean. We're going to keep a copy. Don't tell the rest of the class this, but we're going to keep a copy of the item. So we're going to call this, this is a var, because it could happen more than once. Item saved. And it's going to start out, I don't know if I'm going to use an optional here. I think. Is that the right way, David?
Um,
Maybe.
I can't remember.
Okay, cool.
But you need a capital item over here. Item to save. I think you need the class item,
Back. I'm sorry. What line?
not the lowercase item. You've got yeah.
Oh, here. Yeah, that makes sense. They purpled it. It's declaring a type, I suppose. Okay, so now our spy, same strategy, spying, and we're gonna capture
Can
what
I
was
fix
saved.
something up here?
Yeah,
This is
lowercase. Yeah, you got it. Thank you. Oh, item is saved. Yeah, 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 yeah. Much better. Cool. All right, and now we assert. Now we have a test that we can see what was saved before it was saved. We have. And if as long as we're confident that the data controller save functionality works, we don't care. We're not going to test that anyhow. So we just want to see if this code, we're going to have to reverse our code again because we're ready to try to get back to a failing test case again. You probably, let's see here. Source? I don't know where it is. How do I comment out that code? Boom.
You say, David, comment out that code. You give a command.
Voice command.
Voice command, yeah.
All right, and now the assert equals is much more sophisticated because we have a lot more data now. We can go item, we can go partial. Oh wait, we got to use it. Better new it up somewhere. View model equals. We're not going to use this now. We're going to use partial mock view model, and it's going to have, I think it's okay. I don't know. Is it implicit? Do I have to create an init with a super to make this work? I guess the compiler will let us know if we have to add a init with a super.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be all right.
And view model. Okay, and then I want to ask the view model some questions. Hey, view model, I've got some questions for you. Dot. Item.
You're gonna interrogate our model.
Yeah, item saved. Capital S. Shouldn't be equal to null. Let's start with that. We'll do unequals, I suppose, or unequal. Maybe JUnit messed me up. That might be true. Is there a null anymore? I don't know. Nil? What?
Yeah, nil is used,
There it is.
but yeah, for the.
All right, we'll see what happens. Exciting times.
Yep. So you need to switch and run.
Oh, and this can tell me about compile
and now
errors. There we are.
Compile errors show up.
Maybe get it a little bigger here.
You can click on the icon and it'll has no initializer.
Well, son of a gun. I guess I got to make one of those. I'm not shocked by that. It would be a little bit magical that it could do that. Knit. And then I need this stuff. You want to? This is a job for somebody who likes copy paste, David. I'm gonna go do it.
I was gonna say. I know this is beyond your ability to. It's a character flaw in me that you have to kind of just allow.
This is where I'm gonna like outsource the bad stuff to my heavy.
Yeah.
Hey, David, can you?
Yeah, can you do the C and the V thing?
Yeah. Hey, David, that thing we talked about, it's happening. Can you do it now?
and that's just bringing in a whole nother realm of problems.
No. Let's copy that. What are we looking at? Holy cow!
Yeah.
We don't need that body in there. We just need the call super. So 20 through, I don't know. Oh, what happened? Holy smokes, man. Did I help you accidentally copy paste a whole ton of stuff, or were you fixing the?
I was not in sync with what you needed.
Oh.
So
This is always what happens when you outsource. The guy just like goes crazy. He was going to take care of one problem. He took care
I
of the
get paid
whole
by the
family.
line count.
He took care of the whole family. And I have to say, David, I didn't meant this to be, under the covers and not messy, but you made it messy.
Yeah. And now we got something else going on.
So the init probably, you're going to have to pass the same arguments to super.init. So copy paste what the arguments you have in 19 to, well, not copy paste, I guess. You got to pass those arguments up higher. So data controller, you don't want to copy paste. You want to type data controller. I'm afraid you have to type here, David.
Why do I have to type?
You can't define, maybe. No, you don't need the types, right? Okay, I'm confused. Maybe. You need the arguments. Maybe you do. I don't know. Don't listen to me. I'm confused. We need stuff in there. There it is. Data controller. That looks right. And then show close yeah, that looks right too. All right. I think you got it.
But
except that's not the right. Is that the right one? I think that is.
Do you want the?
Yeah.
Do you want the instance or the type or?
You're just passing. You're just the middleman passing it up higher. So you've already passed the instance data controller, and you passed the show close. I think that's okay. Okay. Yeah, true. There it is. Because we don't want to declare the types. That makes better sense. That was messing with me, man. Why?
All right. I'm expecting some of these errors to go away.
Data controller colon. Data controller. Yeah, that looks right. Overriding. Oh, you just need an override.
Okay.
Why
It doesn't like something about that. What could it be?
Override. Maybe it's not. It is init, right? Yes. Well, no. Maybe it's the name of the method again. I'm confused. What? Oh, you got it. Looks like you fixed it. I was having a Java Swift argument in my head, and it wasn't pretty. Sweet, I think. We have a problem on 34, though. Oh, wait, maybe that'll go away.
No, that's the runtime error that looks the same as a compile error. Thank you, Xcode.
Somebody back in the Apple mothership ought to look into that one.
Yeah.
All right, so it says it failed. Nil's equal to nil. Yeah. All right, cool. So we had to repivot a little bit. We tried to, I think we're back to where we wanted to be, 45 minutes ago, but we learned some things along the way. This is why IT people get paid the big bucks. They have to be like really patient with themselves and their computers because no normal person can do this.
That's right. That is very true.
So let's go back to the, let's go back and uncomment some code.
Oh, wait, we're back to that stage again?
Yeah.
Haven't we been there like 3 times?
Maybe, yeah. Sorry, I messed with your mouse a little bit there. Okay.
We've got commented code.
All right. So call. So let's see what we have to uncomment to make that work. So we probably better call 56. We probably need that one, since our spy will never, say anything otherwise. And then now we need an item, so you got to put 53 back in. And is that enough? That's probably enough. Let's run that baby.
Drum roll.
Yeah. Boom. All right. Now,
is that what we expected?
Yeah. It passed because it's not nil. So now we got to get smarter though. We got to check and see if our item has a project in it, unless we don't care to have 54 and 55 ever again. Yeah, you're making up a new API. Assoir equate. I shouldn't laugh. He's going to go back to his copy paste ways. It's like, oh, this is the way it is.
Oh, you were laughing at me. I didn't understand that.
Assoir
I
equate.
thought you were laughing with me, but no. You're suggesting that something I did was funny?
Assoir equate is quite funny. I think that could be a cool new framework.
What the heck went on there in those typing key? Did I get auto-corrected? Or did I just...
This is where you should blame the other guy who has control that you're sharing with to see if, this is why you have a pass. Like, oh, you were typing on your side, weren't you? But I wasn't.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
So,
yeah. Okay, so now I've lost the train of thought. So I wanted to get something in my view model and my...
Look at 54. How are you going to get 54 uncommented?
I am trying to get that there is a view model, and in my item saved, it has a project that is equal to... Can I do the...
You're getting pretty specific there. Do we have the conditions for that?
I don't know.
I
don't know of any other way to test it. Project.
Well, you can see if it's not nil, but I'm assuming it's optional, and that's probably a big assumption here.
Not nil is not a good test.
No, that's fine. It could be my project. We just gotta set the conditions for that in. Where is our item that we pass in? I'm looking for our item that we create. We are calling add item to project, and the project is going to be called my project. Okay, I think that could be all right. I'm trying to think of how we're going to do that. Project is, we pass it in at line 36. Okay, so you got to set that project name in there on 34 to have that my project string in it for its project name, I assume. So if you just do a project dot something, yeah.
I'll bet it's called title. Project detail. Label?
Label,
Could it be label?
I don't know.
Title, project title.
Oh, nice. Sweet. There we are.
And then...
Get only property. Oh, you're going to be evil. So there's got to be a way to set that property. We might be really barking up a tough tree here. So databases, and entity objects. Project. Does the initializer have a way to do that? Or is it's probably built to make it?
I don't know. It might be.
Read only, because it's an entity. Good
It's
grief,
an
man.
entity.
We got to figure out how to make entities. I think I'll let you see if you can figure this out, because I don't know.
Here's project title.
It's a var string. That looks like it's adjustable. All right, I'm confused. That looks great. So why does that say line 13 is read-only?
This is a getter, right?
I don't think it is. Oh, it is.
It is.
Title, optional, something. Oh, okay. You're right. It is a read-only. All right, so there we are. We're in a, and the only way that initializes is because that it gets it from the data object or something.
But how would you ever change it?
Well, if you go back to that,
right there.
you can't unless you go back to that getter and take a look at that again. So it says it's going to go to the NS localized string.
And it's going to start out, I'm guessing, new project, and the comment, create a new project.
So if title is null, it does. I'm not sure if I got the syntax here right, but does it mean use title? But if there isn't a title, use this other string? Is that what the double question is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where does title come from?
And here's an example project where they're setting the title, which is exactly what we want to do. Why can't we do that?
Well, that's very interesting. Well, maybe because title is a private property. Is that true? Can you find where title is declared at?
I cannot.
Well, it's got to be in there somewhere. You should probably click on it and go to declaration or something like that. Jump to definition, control, NS managed. So this is where we get ourselves in hot soup again. So NS managed is, we're going to have to learn about how to work with this database someday. So that is a public var, which kind of sounds settable, but then that NS managed attribute, the things with at symbols are attributes. I was just reading about that the other day. I have no idea what that means, but it kind of sounds like, oh, what are we in even? We are in project.
This is in Project Core Data Helper, which is an extension on project, which is a managed entity. And that managed entity has a title. It's an optional string. And so we were trying to set the title. I don't know why we can't set the title.
Well, I'm guessing that's something here, that there's something in that attribute NS manage that is getting in
Can
our
I
way.
go back and try again?
Yeah, let's try it again. Of course, because you were trying to change project title, but maybe just title. Oh, this will be great if it actually just does that.
If it actually just would compile so that we could see if it compiled. Okay, it's failed down here now because a project is not a string.
Yeah.
So we want project dot project title probably.
Yeah. All right, great. We figured it out. We just picked the wrong property to. We were messing with the wrong property.
All right, something's got to be unwrapped.
There's a bunch of optionals
here.
in there, so I don't doubt it at all. It needs a question mark. Just put a question mark.
I don't know which one.
Well, if you're gonna
This
assert
one?
that I don't know actually. Well, maybe.
Did you put the question mark in there?
I'm looking. Yes, it is an optional there as well. So you got. I think you've done the right thing. Sweet. I love code now with all these exclamation point markers. And you know what? I don't know who was first. I assume Swift was in the lead, but now Kotlin. I see the same damn punctuation in there. So there's like punctuation all over Kotlin code. That's the same punctuation. And I even saw. I was working with code yesterday with double exclamation points, and I thought, oh, well, at least I know what that is. They didn't like, hey, we're gonna do Kotlin, but we're gonna use like double
exclamation point
and symbols or something like that. They decided to just use the same thing. So that's actually good.
All right, so where did we get to? We got a failing test that says nil is not equal to my project.
All right, well let's uncomment some more code there so that we can get a project. Line 54. Sweet. Let's see.
And now we're going to set.
Run the test, man.
Yeah, but isn't it going to fail? We haven't set it to anything.
You just uncommented 54. It's all going to be good now.
Everything's going to be good. I don't think so.
Okay.
Shit, why am I
Boom!
wrong?
You owe me money again, David. So little. So, this is
Lance,
episode, what are we up to, 22 now? And
I have an E-Trade
folks,
account.
this is the amount of trust I get. He says
I
it
have an
took-
E-Trade account.
It's a
Can I
wonder it
just
comes
give you
on
the
show.
routing number and the account number, and you just take out whatever you need?
Yes. There we are. So, okay, good. Hey, we only have one more cert to add, then we're done with that function.
All right. Bang. Project. Question mark. Date? Project date, probably.
Yeah, we might have to look into that a little bit. I'm not sure. Something that looks date-like. Is there any date-like things in there?
No, there's not.
Oh, that's tricky. So why would there be a date? A creation date? Does that even show up in the UI? Maybe that's a behind-the-scenes thing.
Yeah, it's probably behind the scenes.
What the heck? Well, I don't want like that. Maybe we need to go look at our item. Oh, you found it.
No, I'm just guessing at it.
I thought you had it on the pick list there. Sorry, let's see here.
Detail, color, item, project item, default sorted, completion amounts.
Oh, this is on item, by the way.
Creation date.
Okay, there we are. Sounds sort of cosmological there. Yes. What date
that
was
should be
this
000,
planet born on? Let
right?
me see. There's
Now,
its
how do we
creation date.
figure out if the date? Now we got to test dates. This is crazy talk.
Ooh. Yeah. So, do we care about the specific date, or do we just care to see if it's not equal to nil? That might be the first opening volley. See if it's not equal to nil. And then you can decide if we care about, well, if it's not equal to nil, do we care about the details? And I don't know. I think you just start with nil, and let's go with that. Yeah.
And so, is that a legal statement?
Need a comma nil. Need a comma nil in there. You're missing the other argument. So comma nil. Not equal. Oh, you were trying something there. Okay, yeah. Apparently not. I don't know. That was a nice try. Sensible thing to try.
You're suggesting
Comma, yeah. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah.
like that. Okay.
Yeah. I liked what you tried though. That was sensible. It was worth a shot. If
I did
Apple
one
wrote
sensible
more tests, they probably would have that. They go like, man, we're tired of typing XCT assert not equal nil. Why won't we just add one of those?
Oh, test failed.
Son of a gun. But that's what we wanted. All right. Let's see if we can bring it home on 55. And then I have one more detail I'm seeing too that we'll have to add on the third test, another test for. And then I think we got it. All right, any bets, David?
No, I'm my brain is
I
fried.
was trying to think of what. Oh, it failed too. Wow, you could have made a comeback on us. Nil is equal to nil still. All right, so we said item equal to date, but it is a item, right? It's not a project. So why do we think project and item both have the same date? Can we,
Yeah, that's
so I think you went
totally
too.
wrong.
David, you've
This
gone too
is
far yet again.
items creation date, and we've got a project here. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Take,
um,
here, let me drive for a second.
please drive.
Then you can. Let's see here. I'm going to comment that out. All right. Dot. Creation date. Boom. I hope that's the right one. We'll find out. And go. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Daddy's got a new pair of shoes. Woo! Awesome. Now there's one detail here that we might have missed if we were not paying attention, is this line of code. So I wonder if I can test that or if I should. So here's what I want to see. Can I put nil in here?
You can do whatever you want, buddy.
We'll see what Swift compiler lets us do here. So I cut that. Is that compilable? It is not compilable. All right, so that's got to be something. Do I want to test this? So this is datacontroller.container.viewContext, and we can get to that because that's in our item. We could probably go item.context equal to view context, but I'm not sure. Data controller. I just don't know enough about this argument. What does this do? Like, how could I mess this line up? I don't know. Let's hit this button and see what happens. There's view context. I mean, how can I mess this up? Oh, I can new up a separate data controller in here. Okay. So I got my evil hat on.
You could.
And I'm going to make a bug in here. So we have to test drive it to get it out. Let's see if we can do that. New. Oops,
There's no such word as new.
No news here, pal.
Yep.
Oops. Data controller.
You want to go outside of this thing and create a reference to a data controller.
That sounds like more work than I wanted to do. But yeah, that would be another way. Let me see if I can make it in one line, though.
You're just a one-liner kind of guy, aren't you?
Hey, if I'm just going to make a temporary piece of code that's a bug, you betcha. Data controller.view something.
Container. No, you wanted the container view container. View context. Container.view context.
All right, cool. So there we are. We've got a problem, folks. We got a bug in there that our test will not notice unless we do something about it. Apparently, I want this show to keep going on to extended overtime here. All right. Testing. Test failed. Well, okay. Oh, that's our friend, the illegal attempt to establish a relationship project between objects. Ooh, naughty, naughty.
Ooh. What?
Naughty, naughty. And,
oh, you tried to cross-pollinate a context with another piece's context of something else?
I think I'm going to accept this as we can't put that bug in there and it's all good. Because I don't know how to make this, trick this thing so I can make a bug. So if we put it back in there, yeah, I think probably have to read a thick book on if
core
only
data.
there was a book, but if there was, we'd probably read a big thick one on, so we really understand why what we're trying to do doesn't work. But let's hit play, let's hit pass, and if it passes, we can scratch our head a little bit longer and see if we can write an assert for something that code that unfortunately already works. There it is. So let's scratch our heads for one moment and see if we could add something here for that. And we might not be able to, but let's give it a shot. Assert equal. So I want to I feel like I would like to be able to test this line and I would go to item to do that. So we go view model.item saved, and I'm doing this not in a TDD fashion. I'm not test driving right now because I don't know how to make that line fail, but I'm just going to explore a little bit, see if I can at least add an assert. Not ideal, but I'm just giving it a shot, you know, shooting from the hip a little bit. What is this? Item saved, and then I want to get to there's something called a context. So is there context in here?
Managed object context is what you want.
Oh, it's called object context?
Managed object, one down.
Nice. I'm shocked that they're actually making that accessible, to be honest. All right, now, so that is an object, and we could do a comma and see if it's equal to our data controller, which we have one of those up here. Data controller right there. There's a data controller, so let's go data controller, because that's one's got the right answer. Dot managed. So data controller dot, it should be container. You just got to follow our code over there. Dot view context. All right, let's see if that works. I don't know if it's going to work. It's kind of sporty out here. If it passes, then we actually are testing that line of code. We just don't know how to make it fail. Test succeeded. All right.
So you're saying that the data controller that we have, its view context, is the same object as the item saves managed object context. Those are the same objects.
I'm not saying it. Xcode's saying it now.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But yes, I would say that because Xcode said it. My friend Xcode said it.
I would
so
never put
right.
words in your mouth. Yeah. So
I think that's a safe thing to say. Now that I know Xcode agrees. Yeah, you betcha I'm saying it, David. My friend Xcode says. All right. Well, I think we commented every bloody line here. We're not testing this line because we have to do something else that's kind of icky, is we have to work with an in-memory database, which might not be that icky, but we couldn't figure it out quickly. So folks, if you know how to make an in-memory database work in a more skillful way than us, hey, hit us up on the tweets. We'd love to hear from you. You know, as a professional developer, I would be totally okay with doing this and having a small mock object. What you don't want to have, folks, is if this thing here, which is it's a one-liner, and we're not testing that one line. If that thing's like 20 lines, you should start getting nervous, because it's like, wow, why are you not testing all of that code? To continue with this pattern, we would then have to go to each one of these add project. We'll call the same thing, except that it's about saving projects now. So we have to make a version for save project down here. And then for delete, this data controller save would have to be converted into something useful, like what? Project items for, what is all this? This has got some sportiness to it. This has got an iterator. Oh, that's doing some work.
It's looping over all the items in every project, deleting all the items, and then coming back and deleting all the projects.
And it's deleting them based on from project and index set.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can't. That one's going to take me a little more thinking. But anyways, maybe. Whew. Yeah, maybe. This one will be a little harder. But you know, anything that's passed into here, you could pass it into a one-line function like this, along with a bunch of parameters. I mean, theoretically, we could pass everything in this function as a parameter to something like this and then spy on it. Am I happy with making functions just for spies? Not really. But I'm happier having my code tested. So I would do that if I can't find another way. What do you think, David?
Well, and so your spy is right over here, this thing right
in
the test code.
Yeah.
You put in a mock class, you overrode the init, which just passed on to super, and then you overrode the save item so that you could save the item that we're supposed to save off into a class variable so that we could save it and have it on the, not in the database, but here locally.
Yeah. In fact, I just thought of a way maybe we can make it even more, how do I say, pointed about what
More
this is
awesome?
For. Yeah, more awesome. I don't know the shortcuts in Xcode, so I have to do it this way. Refactor, rename. We're going to make this item saved spy, maybe? So there's our spy, and then you could have more than one spy, because I know we're going to need, to test the delete project. You need might need a couple spies, and then to test the add project, you need a project spy instead of an item spy. Huh. Yeah. So there you go. That's it. That's a strategy. I think a more tidy strategy is to. So I think we follow things in the right order, by the way. So when you see a problem that you think, oh my gosh, we're gonna have to use a mock object. First of all, you just try to use it without having to write any extra mock code, because writing mock code, frankly, is a pain in the butt. Why do it? So first you try it with what's there. Well, we had an in-memory database. We tried the in-memory database. We got problems with it, and we said, well, screw the in-memory database. So step two, let's inject a whole mock object, not a partial mock, but a whole mock object in place of the in-memory database. We started down that path, but then we ran into a problem where we weren't getting enough context. We didn't know how to get to the item saved, so we could check back and see if the right thing saved. In theory, it could have worked, but it didn't. And that's when we had that weird runtime error. Xcode said, or Swift said, nah. All right, so then we get to the next step as well. We have to adjust our design a little bit. That's what this is a design adjustment, so that we can insert a partial mock. We're mocking the thing we're testing partially, so that we can get some spies in there and tell us what's going on. How come did I break the code over here?
I don't know what you did that made that happen.
Let's just run it again. Maybe it's just man, my do not disturb doesn't work very well. I get all kinds of disturb. Value of item saved by spy. Oh, it didn't update. Oh, we don't have a good refactoring tool. It didn't update.
The refactoring didn't go all the way through.
Whoa, Apple, come on, man.
Okay. Well, you did, I think it has two types of refactoring. There's a local and the project level.
Yeah, I see where our video is getting sketchy for some reason. I don't know what's going on there. I'm dropping frames. So let's finish this baby up and close the show. So let's update this. View model, item save, spy. Why is the video gone sideways? And item save, spy. Wow, we need to get our refactoring tool better. This has got a bug. It doesn't handle all the cases.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now it should work. How's the video look on your side, by the way?
Terrible. My Zoom seems to be good, but yours is frozen.
Okay, yeah, I'm frozen too. You're right. You're moving around. I'm not. Okay, David, you got to close the show. You're the only one who with lips that move.
My lips will move in a few seconds here. Okay, thank you all for joining us. This has been TDD Academy. We're out of here. I don't know how to close the show.
Yeah, XX.